When I was a young parliamentarian, climate change was not the environmental topic. The ozone layer was. And the world actually agreed to do something about it. The discovery of the hole in the ozone layer really captured the world's attention back in the mid-80s. I remember how people rapidly became aware that everyday products like deodorant sprays contained dangerous man-made chemicals. The discovery of the ozone hole also brought a deeper realization, namely that mankind is capable of doing serious damage to the global environment if we do not take better care of it. This is a lesson that is even more important today as world population heads towards more than 9 billion people by the middle of this century. Montreal has achieved a lot. The atmospheric concentrations of chemicals which attack the ozone layer most aggressively are now falling thanks to the phase-out of their production and consumption, which is underway. The scientific evidence indicates that as long as the international community continues implementing the protocol, the ozone layer should recover fully by the second half of this century. First, there are the large amounts of ozone-depleting substances which are contained in products that were made before the most aggressive gases were banned. Things like fridges, air conditioners and insulation materials. Solutions need to be agreed globally to ensure that these substances are properly recovered and destroyed. Secondly, there is the challenge of the HFCs. This is a family of man-made gases which are increasingly being used to replace ozone-depleting substances. HFCs don't harm the ozone layer, but many of them are extremely powerful greenhouse gases. Some are thousands of times more powerful than CO2. We need to agree on a global phase-down of HFCs as soon as possible, and we believe the best instrument for this is the Montreal Protocol itself. Well, the EU has been a leader. We have not only implemented what has been agreed under the protocol, but on many occasions we have actually moved faster in phasing out dangerous substances than the Montreal Protocol requires. Our legislation is one of the most progressive in the world, if not the most progressive. For instance, we completed the phase-out of one family of gases, the HCFCs, in 2010, which is 10 years ahead of the deadline. And we will present shortly a legislative proposal to phase down also F-gases in Europe. Our legislation has allowed European producers and consumers to shift to alternatives in a very cost-effective way. I believe there are some important lessons we can learn from our experience with the Montreal Protocol. Let me mention 4. First, the protocol is legally binding on all countries, so it has teeth. The EU will be pressing very hard for the new climate treaty to be legally binding as well. We fought to get the strongest possible recognition of this at the Durban conference last year. The second lesson is that we need to set targets. Certainly, the Montreal Protocol shows that targeted financial support, especially to poorer developing countries, can significantly accelerate the phase-out. And fourthly and lastly, Montreal ensures that any countries which refuse to participate, the so-called free riders, are excluded from sharing its benefits, of course. This has proven to be an effective approach that the world might also want to consider in the design of a new climate agreement.